Listen to the rules and procedures that will follow for tonight's meeting.
Good evening, and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Town of Babylon Zoning Board of Appeals. The following is the procedure that will be followed tonight. The matters will be called in the order they appear on the calendar, with adjourned matters being called at the end of the regularly scheduled matters. Matters cannot be heard prior to their published scheduled time. When your matter is called, please submit the affidavit of posting to the secretary and proceed to the podium and give your name and address. The chairperson will then swear you in and read into the record information we have from your application, comments from various town departments, and any correspondence received on your application. The chairperson will then ask you to make whatever presentation you wish to make to the board. After you have made your presentation, the board will ask whatever questions the board deems appropriate, and then we will ask for comments from the public. If you wish to speak for or against an application, we ask that you wait until you're acknowledged. Come forward, give us your name and address, tell us where your property is in relation to the property that's in question tonight, and then please direct your comments to the board, not the applicant or the applicant's representative. We have to keep a record, and we cannot do that if there are people talking over each other or cross conversations. If someone has spoken for or against an application, and they have said exactly the same thing that you wish to say, it will have the same force and effect in the record if you give your name and address, are sworn in, and say that you join in those comments. If you have anything additional to say, please don't hesitate to do so, but keep in mind that you will be given only one opportunity to speak. After the public has spoken, the board may ask the applicant to come back to answer any questions that may have come up as a result of the public comments, or for the applicant to summarize. When the applicant comes back to answer any additional questions, if that happens, that does not start a second round of public comments. Once the matter has been heard, various things may occur. The board may decide the application immediately. It may reserve decision. If the board reserves decision, that does not mean the matter is approved or denied. It just means that the board needs more time to decide, may want to go out and look at the site again, or might want to review the documents and testimony further before making a decision. In either event, the applicant will receive the board's decision in writing shortly after the board makes its decision. If the application is approved, that does not mean that you can then go ahead and start construction or whatever it is that you requested from the board. You will have to wait for the building permit to be obtained from the building department before your go-ahead. On some occasions, the matter may be continued for another night. If it is continued, in most cases it will be for the submission of documents, a new survey, new plans, or something of that nature. If that's the case, no one needs to come back on the new date. The documents will be submitted and no further testimony will be taken. On rare occasions, a matter may be continued for future testimony. If that's the case, then people would have to come back to testify. If matters are adjourned at an open meeting on the scheduled date of hearing, no further notice need be given unless specifically required by the board on the date the adjournment is granted. 3 rules that may affect your ability to proceed tonight. 1. If the sign was not posted for 10 days, we cannot hold the hearing tonight. 2. If you commence this proceeding while you own the property, but no longer own the property, and you are here now to continue with the application, you will need either the written consent of the new owner or the new owner to be present for the hearing. This situation could come about if you sold your house or building, money was held in escrow at closing for a certificate of occupancy or permit, and you're here tonight to clear that up. Lastly, if your application is a commercial application, and it's other than a renewal, and there is more than one tenant in the building, then you need your landlord to be here. Is there any applicant that has any difficulty with those situations and would need an adjournment tonight?
Is there anyone that would need an adjournment? Please rise and join the board in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we begin tonight, there is an adjournment on two applications that are on our adjourned calendar. They are 23-209 and 23-210. They are located in they're located in in Deer Park on Bay Shore Road. Is there anybody here on those applications? They're being adjourned to February the 1st. First application tonight is application 23-204 of Stacy DeNoyer, property located in Deer Park. Name and address for the record, please.
Joseph Camerata, 476 Coolidge Street, West Hempstead, New York.
I do affirm to tell the truth.
I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated January 3rd, 2004, environmental control memo dated January 9th, 2004. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Pinnacle Land Surveyors dated July 14th, 2023. Tax map acting as an area map, and
Chairman, there's 11 photographs and a site plan by Daniel Seabrook Jr. dated September 4th, 2023.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
The work to be existing is just increase the livability for the family. They make a lot of use of their property. The increase in the patio area was done to enhance the backyard with the installation of the in-ground pool that was granted by this board in 2018. So it's just, we're maintaining the existing conditions that went beyond what was approved and discussed back then, and just seeking relief as to the increase of the total lot area covered.
Okay, thank you. Turn the hearing over to Mr. Correcchia.
Okay, so this outdoor kitchen and roof overhang was not there when the pool was installed?
Correct. It wasn't even part of the conversation at the time. And during the course of installing, backfilling, finishing all the work with the pool, the patio expanded, and with the extension of the patio, they made some design determinations with regards to the attached roof over and the outdoor kitchen.
Okay, you're coming, yeah, your CO was not issued before the pool.
Correct.
So now this addition was coming in, so it's an additional,
Correct. We were scheduled for a final inspection back in August of last year, which is when the inspector discovered the differing of the conditions that were approved and brought up the need to have to file for the permits to address the matter.
if this is approved, you agree not to enclose the roof overhang?
Yes, I've spoken with the owners and the architect, and everybody's on board with that condition.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. Good. That's good.
Everybody? Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve application 23204 with the condition that the rear roof overhang not be further enclosed.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Next application is application 23212 of Fabrizio and Donna Tenaglia, property located in Deer Park.
Good evening.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Christine from Accurate Expediting, 286A Belmont Avenue, West Babylon, New York.
Okay, do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated January 3rd, 2024, environmental control memo dated January 9th, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Jason Lettingham dated August 9th, 2023. Tax map acting as an area map, and
Chairman, there's 4 photographs.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
Sure. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My clients would like to ask permission from this board for variance reliefs on their second front yard and rear yard, setbacks pertaining to a pool, pool deck, and portico over their side door. There is mention of a small storage shed on the east lot line. I have just submitted a photo of that. It's a stand-up storage bin. It's 2.5 feet by 4 feet, made out of plastic for pool supplies. We were not notified that it needed a variance as it was not stated on the denial we received from the building department. I have a copy of that as well if you need it. It's a plastic storage shed. We would agree that if the deck ever should come down, that it be replaced in a conforming location, that Snaglias keep their home in impeccable condition and are proud homeowners of the town of Babylon. We feel if granted, it would be keeping in the nature and character of the neighborhood. We feel the variance sought is not substantial and that it would not cause any adverse effect to the surrounding neighbors. Although the hardship is self-created, we feel it's not a substantial request. I would like the board to consider granting these variances.
Okay, thank you. Turn hearing over to Mr. Crutchia.
Okay, there's a note here on the planning memo about removing the shed,
So
moving it
that's,
to a conforming location. Is that the shed they're talking about?
so, yeah, so there's a plastic, I just sent you the picture of it.
Yeah.
It's like a plastic
So
shed.
that's the shedding concern?
Yeah, and
Okay,
it's
with the
2
shed.
feet by 4 feet, and it actually was not included on the denial, so we didn't even know it needed a variance.
Okay, but you would agree to move that in a conforming location, correct?
Well, it is .8. It's just, it's right up against the fence. It's,
Right. So you would agree to move that in a conforming location?
would you agree to move that? Okay, yes.
And also, if the deck was ever replaced, you put that also in a conforming
Yes.
location? Okay. I have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. Guys good? Good? Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve application 23-212 with the condition that the plastic shed be removed and put in a conforming location, and if the pool deck ever is to be replaced, it also is to be constructed in a conforming location.
Second. All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
It's tough keeping those signs up in the wind.
Next application is application 23-217 of Mid-Island Property Solutions, property located in Amityville. Name and address for the record.
Yeah, I'm Lawrence Wagner, 12 Hamilton Lane, Huntington, New York.
And do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes,
Do
I
you
do.
affirm to tell
Yes,
the
I do.
truth?
Yes, I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated January 3rd, 2024, environmental control memo dated January 9th, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Lawrence Michael Haynes dated September 4th, 2023, tax map acting as an area map. And,
Chairman, there's 5 photographs.
okay, would you like to tell us about the application?
Can I have Bruce Fleiss, who works with me, come and speak? I own the company, he works with me. He has more of the details.
That's fine.
Thank you.
I just need to swear you in, that's all. Need your name and address for the record, please?
Bruce Fleiss, 26 Pickwick Hill Drive, Huntington Station, New York.
Okay, I see you from Tell the Truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the company, Mid-Island Properties, bought this property from another investor, uses it at a rental. He's been renting it since 2010. Yep, since 2010. We bought it. And then when we went to apply for the permit, the rental permit in our name, the issue of an addition and too close to the property line came up. But it's, the survey from 2010 is attached. And we're just looking to get the too close to the property line relieved. But the entire house is too close to the property line.
Turn the hearing over to Mr. Perotti.
Good evening, how you doing?
Good.
Happy New Year's.
Same to you?
Question, when was the addition built? Do you know that? Okay,
Well, prior to 2010.
okay, no problem.
because that's what this survey, and when we did a foil before we bought it, all it came up was the one survey, and there was no COs on record for the entire house.
Now, did you have the sign posted for 10 days?
Yes, I have the,
That's
see,
big. Yes, okay.
I handed it into the office.
Okay, no problem. Also, the basement, is there a
It's an
kitchen or
unfinished
bedroom or
basement.
unfinished?
It's unfinished, it's the utility room and concrete floor and walls.
So no plans for any bedrooms or a kitchen downstairs?
New.
Okay. Now, if we were to approve, would you agree to having no habitable space down there? in the
No
basement?
habitable space. There better not be any habitable space.
Also, if we do approve it, do you agree for the outside cellar entrance remain Bilko-style doors?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. Okay. That's good.
Chairman, make a motion to approve application 23-217 with a condition, two conditions, one with the basement no habitable space. Also, the other condition that the outside cellar entrance remain Bilko-style door only.
But it can be replaced if it gets,
Yeah, damaged.
yeah, but to remain as is.
As a
Yeah,
Bilko-style door.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
All in favor? Okay. Good luck.
Thank you. So do you send a report to the building department that I can proceed with the building plans that I've submitted?
You'll get,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
good, I'm good. Next application is application 23-216 of Nicole Parisi, property located in Wheatley Heights. Name and address for the record.
My name is Mary Rose Riley, 732 Smithtown Bypass, Smithtown, New York. I am the agent for Nicole Parisi.
Okay. And do you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated January 3rd, 2024. Environmental Control memo dated January 9th, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey by Barrett, Banucci, and Van Weel, love that name, March 7th, 2023, tax map acting as an area map, and
Chairman, there's 4 photographs on the site plan by William Patrick Keenan dated July 8th, 2022.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
Good evening, members of the board. We are before you this evening requesting a front yard setback variance of 32 feet to the proposed portico roof where 40 foot is required by code.
God bless.
Bless you. Rear yard variance of 32 feet to the proposed rear wood deck where 40 feet is required. The deck, while not extending past the existing house on the north side, also requires a variance for minimum side yard, reduced from 15 foot, which is required, to 14.08 feet. The existing house is located on a 7,500 square foot non-conforming parcel like many others in this neighborhood. The existing front yard setback of 34 feet to the principal dwelling is as originally constructed. The existing north side yard setback of 14.8 feet where 15 is required, and the existing aggregate side yard of 31.1 feet where 35 is required is all as constructed. The house is currently existing non-conforming. The only conforming setback is the rear yard, which is 40 feet to the principal dwelling. This home is a high ranch which has recently undergone significant upgrades and modification under prior permit number 144203, turning this former eyesore into a clean, beautiful addition to the neighborhood. Part of these extensive renovations include adding an 18-square-foot roof-over front portico to provide some cover from inclement weather, and a new 8x10 rear deck off the upper-level kitchen to provide access to the backyard directly from the kitchen, instead of having to go down to the first level for outside backyard access. Ms. Parisi has 2 school-age daughters, and this provides much better supervision for them while they are using the yard with their family and friends, as well as logical access from the kitchen. This neighborhood consists of various sizes and styles of homes, such as small ranches, wide and inline high ranches, and expanded capes, each with varying locations on their plots. Many of these homes also have small roofed-over porticos or covered front porches. Therefore, we believe this request is not out of character with the neighborhood. The Planning Division provided their comments on January 3rd, and I would like to take this opportunity to address the conditions of approval noted in that document. Number one, my client will not enclose the front portico. Number two, all the non-conforming accessory structures, which involve some sheds and an above-ground pool, have already been removed from the property during the course of construction. They are not going to be replaced at this time, and should they be replaced or needed by the owner in the future, she will apply for the required permits prior to installation or construction. The upper-level deck will not be enclosed by my client. And number four, due to a change, an unfortunate change in family circumstances, my client will not be applying for an accessory apartment. The apartment was intended to be used by her disabled mother, who has recently passed. We will be withdrawing the accessory apartment application. Therefore, the entirety of the premises will be used as one family and, of course, have unobstructed access between the levels. This concludes our appeal, and I'll be happy to answer questions that the board may have at this time. Thank you.
Good job. So you answered the first one on a portico. All non-conforming structures are going to be removed. Upper level deck not to be enclosed. Dwelling must maintain exterior. Addressed all those conditions. Also, are you going to be reciting the house?
The house has been recited as part of that original permit application, which number I read to you during my application.
All right, very good. All right, I have no other questions. Any questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. I make a motion to approve application 23-216 with the conditions, four conditions, that the portico not be enclosed, all non-conforming permit accessory structures be removed, upper level deck not to be enclosed above or below, and dwelling must be maintained, interior access between levels. Okay, that was more with the accessory apartment, which is not.
Right, which we're going to withdraw that. It's not needed at this time.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
Quick and to the point. Good job. Next application is application 23-218 of Duncan Baskin Robbins, property located in Farmington. Name and address for the record.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Diana Prevette. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Albanese & Albanese, 1050 Franklin Avenue, Garden City, New York, 11530.
For the record, we have a Planning Division memo dated January 3rd, 2024. A prior approval dated January 25th, 2018. Was approved for 5 years at that time. Department of Environmental Control memo dated January 9th, 2024. If approved, this application will not result in significant impact. A survey. This might be a site plan. No, it's a site plan by Barrett, Amorazzo, and Reese Architects, dated November 2012. Tough even with my glasses. Tax map acting as an area map.
Chairman, there's 8 photographs.
Would you like to tell us about the application?
Okay. I'm here today representing the applicant and the tenant of the premises at 2109 Broad Hollow Road, East Farmingdale, New York. The applicant is Duncan Baskin Robbins, and the principal of the Duncan is Jeff Palazzotto. He operates the Duncan Baskin Robbins. Jeff Palazzotto is here tonight in case the board has any questions, and also here tonight is Ted Ead of TP Signs. He has some signboards, photographs to show you as we go through the application. The store has been open since approximately 2013. In 2018, under application number 17299, the applicant obtained sign variances for additional wall signs, ground signs, a pylon sign, and directional signs. The grant of variances was for a period of 5 years, expiring January 25th, 2023. I believe you have a copy of the decision. It was submitted with the application. I do have more copies here if you don't have it.
No, we have.
Okay. By some oversight, the applicant did not apply to renew the variances before January 25th, 2023. Those variances expired. He did change his office address, so if a renewal letter came to his office address, the old one, he probably didn't get it. Maybe the forwarding expired, I'm not quite sure. As Dunkin' does every 5 years or so, they modify and refresh their national branding, including the signage on the outside of the building, consistent with their new national branding campaign. When the applicant applied for sign permits recently, in 2023, for the new sign faces on the building and on the pylon, that's when the applicant became aware that the variances originally granted in 2018 had expired because they hadn't been renewed. So at this point, it was the sign inspector basically said you have to apply for the variances again in order to change the sign faces. He couldn't just grant a permit. So what we're applying for at this point with the changes in the signage, one additional wall sign on the west wall facing Broad Hollow Road. One is permitted, and we are proposing 2 wall signs. There's an additional wall sign on the south wall facing Millbar Boulevard. One, again, is permitted, and what's being proposed is a total of 3. There's an additional ground sign on the south side of the building, which is the menu board, and there's 1 ground sign, which is the Dunkin' drive-through pylon sign. So there are 2 ground signs where 1 is permitted. The pylon did have originally 2 signs on it. With the new signage that's being proposed, 1 is permitted on the pylon, and we are only proposing 1 on the pylon. Mr. Eads showing you some of the signage as we go along. You have the photos of the site. As you know, it's Section 3 on the Suffolk County Tax Map, Block 1, Lot 20.001. The parcel, as I said, opened in 2013. It was originally a gas station. The gas station was demolished, and a new building was constructed to construct the Dunkin' Baskin location. It's in a well-developed commercial industrial area. It's directly across from New York State University at Farmingdale. Mr. Palazzotto has an extensive history with operating Dunkin' Baskin-Robbins. He has 20 other Dunkin' stores throughout Suffolk County, and he's been operating stores for 23 years. The 2 additional wall signs on the south wall facing Millbar is counted as 3 altogether because we have Baskin-Robbins, you also have Dunkin', and then you have on the sign on the wall Farmingdale Dunkin', so that's how they come up with 3 signs. That's kind of a function of the fact that this Dunkin' also has Baskin-Robbins. There's 1 additional wall sign on the west wall facing Broad Hollow, and this is actually a reduction. We did have Dunkin', Baskin-Robbins, and then there was the coffee cup on the wall that faces Broad Hollow. The coffee cup is being eliminated, so we're just going to be 2 wall signs on that wall facing Broad Hollow, Dunkin' and Baskin-Robbins. The menu board is considered 1 ground sign. Obviously, they need a menu board because there is a drive-through there. And the second ground sign is the pylon. And obviously, you need a pylon sign so that you can identify the location. So that's the reason for those variances. The digital menu board is not being changed. It's 32 square feet. It's internally illuminated with LED lights, so it stays as is. The ground sign, Dunkin' drive-through pylon sign, is 21 square feet. It is internally illuminated with LED lights. And then the additional west wall sign, Baskin-Robbins, is single-sided, front-lit LED channel letters. The additional south wall sign, which says Farmingdale Duncan, is flat PVC letters. It's not illuminated. And all of this lighting, because it is LED, will not project beyond the subject property. Those lights are on a timer. They're turned on from roughly 6 p.m. to 5 a.m., depending on what time of the year it is. You know, if it's winter, there are more, night hours, so it's dark. In the summer, they may get turned off earlier because there's more daylight hours. Just in briefly going over the elements to grant variances, the benefit to the applicant, we believe there is a benefit to the applicant in having the two ground signs, which serve a necessary function. The menu board is necessary to basically assist with the functioning of the drive-through, and the pylon identifies the site. And the wall signs, the existing wall signs, again, is for identification and also because of the national branding. We believe that there really is no detriment to the community by these additional signs, so we believe in balancing the benefit to the applicant against the detriment to the community, health, safety, and welfare. The balance is in favor of the applicant. We don't believe it's going to cause an undesirable change in the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. If there are additional wall signs and additional ground sign, this is a well-developed commercial industrial area. The other adjoining and neighboring buildings have multiple signs. It's really not going to affect any residential area because there is no real residential area in close proximity. So we don't believe there's any undesirable change. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other feasible method, again, the necessary signs are for the drive-through and for the national branding. We don't believe there's any other feasible method to basically identify the site and also assist in having cars go through the drive-through. We don't believe the variances are substantial. You can't just go by the percentage of deviation or the number of variances that are being requested. You basically have to look at the entire picture of the property and the surrounding properties. So we believe under the circumstances, these variances are not substantial. We don't believe there will be any adverse effect, impact, or physical environmental conditions in the neighborhood as a result of these variances. The only impact would be visual, and as I've said, the signs are not, we're not asking for the size of the sign to be varied, and they do all have LED lights, the ones that are illuminated, so we believe there will be no visual impact. Although technically there is self-created difficulty here, as the board knows, that one factor, self-created difficulty, does not warrant the denial of an area variance. So based upon all of the foregoing, we'd respectfully request that the variances be granted. Of course, we're here to answer any questions that the board may have.
Okay, so as far as taking care of applying on time, we've gotten that straightened out going forward?
We're in the process of straightening it out. In fact, as noted in the planning memo, there's a special exception permit also that
was my next
recently
question.
expired. So I'm working with Mr. Palazzotto. We'll be in touch with the ZBA office to try and straighten out any address issues and also get any necessary paperwork and file any paperwork and pay any fees that are necessary for the special exception renewal.
Okay, I think that's really my only questions. I don't think there's a big difference with the signage and stuff like that. But
No,
this all needs to be done on time, and the special exception permit is also expired, as well as the sign permits, okay?
We understand that, and I will work with, we only just got the memo, yesterday, so he's been digging through his documentation, and he will be applying for any necessary renewal on the special exception.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, I have one. What's the purpose of the Farmingdale Duncan sign?
Again, it's branding. Mr. Palazzotto, am I correct? That's national brand. It's basically, as I said, they have this campaign, it's every 5, 6, 7 years. They basically want all of their stores to have consistent signage, and for that kind of secondary wall, they want to note the area, so
I mean,
that-
you're across from a big sign that says Farmingdale State College. I think anyone knows they're in Farmingdale.
Yeah,
you know?
believe me, we understand that. These are the type of branding, branding items that they like to see on all of their stores.
So Dunkin' wants all signs across America to say the town that they're in?
It's,
We have one in Copeg that says Copeg runs on Duncan, one in Lindenhurst says Lindenhurst runs on Duncan.
yeah, you may need to step up and just be sworn, if you're going to answer questions, please.
Name and address for the record, please.
Jeff Palazzotto, 30 Prescott Street, Garden City, New York.
And do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
All the new locations have that branding, so we have a store in Copeg that says Copeg runs on Duncan, in Lindenhurst says Lindenhurst runs on Duncan, and going forward, all the stores are going to have that signage.
I haven't noticed that. I live in Copeg, but,
You know, it's,
okay.
it's on the west side, like buried towards the back, but
I think I remember when we went through this with the Copeg location.
Yes.
Is this your branding, or is this Dunkin's branding?
Duncan's branding.
So they want, like I said, like I know you have personally, 20 Dunkins, but all across America, they want all of them to say something
Yeah.
along those lines?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of coming from their headquarters.
Good evening, all. I'm Teddy Eade from TP Signs, 470 South Franklin Street, Hempstead, New York, 11550.
You affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do. We are an approved sign manufacturer and vendor for Dunkin' Brands, and we do a lot of units, and a lot of them are. We put before. They do it on the outside and the inside. So if you've gone inside, you'll see it. And you had approved us, was it 2 years ago when we were here, right?
I believe
For
it was
Copeg.
about 2 years.
2 years ago when we came for Copeg. And we will be coming for Babylon as soon as we get the date. He has another one, the old double drive-through, what was it? The one in Babylon?
North Babylon?
Yeah. What's the one that was before you?
Checkers.
Checkers, the old Checkers?
Make it a drive-through, please.
It is.
I don't like having to walk in on the one on North Babylon.
No, it's not a truck. It's not a Checkers. It's going to be Dunkin'.
Why? You got to get out of the car and walk in. It's like,
But you'll see the same thing. We do it across. We do a lot in New York City and Long Island, and we have them.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
I just want to point out again, that, location sign is not lit. It's
Yep.
just,
Just a sign.
So it's not adding to any, lighting that might be on during the evening hours.
thank you. Does anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none, so we're going to close the hearing and reserve decision. You get the decision in the mail. Thanks for coming down, okay?
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Next application is application 23-214 A and B. Janos Sidorick? Swiderick. Property located in West Babylon. Help me out.
Yeah, no problem. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Nicole Blanda. I'm an attorney at Bazell Blanda Visconti with offices at 535 Broad Hollow Road in Melville.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated January 3rd, 2024. Has a number of covenants and restrictions on it. Environmental control memo dated January 9th, 2024. If we were to approve this, it needs a negative declaration. On the B location, we have same memo. Then we have on the A application by Thomas Zwala, dated May 8th, 2023. We have that on the B application, the same. and an overall, also by Thomas Walla, and also dated May 5th, 2023. Tax map acting as an area map, and
Chairman, 4 photographs on application A, also a site plan by Harold E. Gebhardt dated September 28th, 2023. And on B application is a site plan by Harold E. Gebhardt dated August 30th, 2021.
okay, what would you like to tell us about the application?
I'm here tonight on behalf of the property owner, Janus Swiderick, seeking variances for a two-lot subdivision that is within the Residence D zone. We did go for a change of zone before the town board. Previously, this was zoned industrial. So this was after taking concerns of the neighborhood, you know, them not wanting further industrial uses or commercial uses on this block. We had discussions with planning, and we decided to bring forth a two-lot subdivision for two-family homes. And in order to do that, we had to change the zone to Residence D. So we had our town board approval come in August 30th of 2023, and then planning board approved the subdivision in November of 2023. So we're here tonight seeking 3 variances on each lot. We tried to minimize the variance requests. We have a lot area of 13,500 square feet. Residence D imposes Residence C requirements. So we're seeking to reduce frontage from 75 to 62.5 on both Lot A and Lot B, reduce lot area from 7,500 square feet to 6,750 square feet, both on Lot A and Lot B, and then diminish the rear yard setback only to the second-story stairwell from 30 feet to 24.7 feet. The rest of the rear yard will comply at 30 feet. The second-story stairs acts as a second means of egress to that unit upstairs because these aren't side by side. This is an up and down two-family house. Each unit will have 2 bedrooms, kitchen, living room, bathroom, laundry facilities. The basement will remain unfinished, and it has Bilco doors leading to it, and it will be used for utilities and for storage for the occupants of the home. The owner agrees to the only Bilco-style outside cellar entrances, and also there's a condition basement limited to unconditional space for storage use and utility use only. And then there's also, there shall be no habitable space in the basement. So we agree to all those covenants regarding the basement. You know, no accessory apartment, but obviously it's a two-family home, as you would expect in a Residence D zone. On this block, it really is a transitional block for the area. As you can see, public storage facility is to the rear. We do have 2 Residence D homes on the corner of the Sunrise Highway Service Road and Rutgers. They seem to be high ranch-style homes. There's a couple of residential homes in the Business E zone, so it's really like a mixed area in terms of both zoning and lot size and uses. But everyone seemed to feel, at least so far, that this was an upzone for this property. The houses will be finished differently, so they won't look cookie cutter. They'll be attractive, well kept. Mr. Swiderick is very excited to have these 2 homes and to get them rented. And this is our last stop, so we, hope to get our approvals. And of course, if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, so you agree to all the covenants and restrictions on both the planning memos?
Yes.
Okay, I have no further questions. Any questions from the board?
You gonna cut down that big tree?
Which one?
Let her profit.
If it's in the, so they're going to do a mark out of any trees, and they're going to keep any mature trees that they can. But if there is a tree that is in the way of, utilities or the actual, I see a 24-inch diameter tree that looks like it's being kept. There's a 12 tree. I see some trees here on the survey that are being shown. I don't see them marked as being cleared.
Just curious, I did a drive-by.
Yeah.
That thing is huge.
Yeah.
Is it the whole pond?
Probably be a monster to take down, too.
Are you gonna get rental permits for the apartment?
Because it's Residence D, it's zoned as a two-family, so each unit is already sort of I guess, approved as a, I don't think it has to go to rental board. I mean, I haven't dealt with a Residence D in a while. Right, they're not owner occupied, so then, yeah, I guess it goes to rental board for each unit. You know, once constructed and, yeah.
Do you know how many other two-family homes are on that block?
Yeah, so on the corner, if we went back to the aerial, I actually have a couple of photos of them, but it looks like tax lot 44.1 and 44.2. They're right, I would say maybe 50 feet away, but on the opposite side of the street, there's two parcels that are zoned Residence D. So it's the corner of the Sunrise Service Road and Rutgers. They're Residence D. And then the other two across the street are actually Business E. Yeah, and then the rest are either industrially zoned or they're zoned Residence C.
Will you agree to check it out with the rental board?
Well, of course, yeah, sure.
I'm gonna put that on you.
Yeah, thank you. Put more on me.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. John? Okay, yeah, yep.
Mr. Chairman, I propose we adopt a negative declaration on application 23-214A and application 23-214B.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve application 23-214A and 23-214B with the approved subject covenants, restrictions, conditions, and that the client, customer will check in with the rental board as per two-family.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody.
You made up. Happy New Year. Thank you.
Have a good night.
That concludes our YouTube streaming.